Hello, everyone. This is Roaring Skies. This is our fifth episode, sixth episode, I believe.
I believe so.
So, this is okay. So we're talking about the tornado that occurred in St. Louis
Good Friday.
on Good Friday. Whoops, that popped off. Oh, this is the National Reserve thing. I'm gonna have to see for sure if I can find a one with the Naxrad.
Yeah. But how's everyone doing? Hope all of you are doing well and staying safe during this crazy weather season. And make sure you're bundled up,
Yeah,
because there's a cold front moving through, so stay warm, everybody.
it's already moved through.
No, but I'm just saying, just stay bundled up.
Yeah, stay bundled up, everybody. And by the way, good news. The um the government shutdown it will be likely ending soon. Are you ready for that, Nick?
I have this might sound weird, but I actually have no comment on that. I haven't been paying attention to the news lately, buddy.
All right. So yeah, that will be ending soon, which a lot of people are going to be excited for. So that's definitely some awesome news.
But thank you for taking the time out of your day to check us out, everybody. We are glad that you all have came to join us on this episode of Roaring Skies, and we hope you find something interesting off of this podcast, and we hope you're able to learn a thing or two.
Yeah, I'm real quick going ahead. I'm going to real quick enter my email into this and order the data
All
for
right.
this, and
While you're doing
then
that, while you're doing
this
that,
will this will take 5 to 25 minutes. So I'm gonna try to get the archive for the for all of April 22nd.
yeah,
That's what I'm trying to do. It's free,
okay, that sounds good, bud.
so
I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up real quick
okay. I'm just gonna real quick check
since
the
we're gonna.
email real quick, see if I get that if I have it in my email yet. It may be in spam. I'll check. Oh, I forgot the government shut down still currently, so it could take them more
We're
time.
good. Okay, looks like I can't get that, so I'll just go back to what I had before. There we go. All right. I'll go ahead and put this on the screen real quick of the St. Louis tornado.
Okay. Um, I guess I'll download this one. Oh, never mind.
And on the night of Good Friday, a F4 tornado or an EF4 tornado would go through
EFR
St.
because
Louis,
it's
and as you can
instead of
see,
11.
as you can see, an EF4 tornado would go through St. Louis, and it would impact parts of the Lambert St. Louis International Airport and several other parts of St. Louis. And as you can see by the debris ball and the tight circulation on radar, this thing was a powerful tornado that struck St. Louis on Good Friday and caused a lot of damage to the airport.
Okay, real quick, I'm going to press St.
And while you're doing
Louis.
that, Mason,
See if I
I'm going to
can.
quickly pull this up so they can see this too. Let's see. Oopsie. So it's the wrong thing. I'm going to pull this up real
Okay,
quick.
so 2011 04 22 through 23rd is what I'm going to pop up.
And for those that don't know, this tornado would inflict a lot of damage to St. Louis. And as a matter of fact, Mason, I'm going to show some of the damage on here if I think we can. Let me go to this. Go to the NWS Paducah. Let me go to the event summaries, and then I'm gonna show you some of the damage that occurred in St. Louis on the night of Good Friday.
That's good.
But if any of you lived in St. Louis during this time, can you give us your thoughts and let us know what it was like for you in St. Louis around this time? Like if you were at the airport or anywhere in the path, like what was going through your head through this night whenever this violent tornado was coming through St. Louis? And this
Okay, so I'm
tornado
gonna real
that hit
quick.
St. Louis on this night was the strongest. What was the strongest tornado to hit St. Louis in more than 44 years at that point? It was the strongest tornado since January 24th, 1967. So it had been a long time since St. Louis had seen a tornado of that magnitude. But I'm gonna real quickly pull up the track to show you.
Let me see if there's any that
But as you can
popped
see,
up
there's a tight
there.
circulation right there, and there's a pretty big debris ball from other structures that this thing hit. And then this is the track right here. And
Hold
as you
on,
can
I gotta
see,
go back
this
to
thing touched.
the screen here. Okay, yeah.
And as you can see, this thing touched down just to the west of just to almost looks like the west to northwest of Maryland Heights. It touched down just near the river, and this thing would go all the way from past Maryland Heights, hit the airport, and travel by Florissant, Spanish Lake, and would eventually dissipate on the northeast side of Granite State. Now, let me see if I can zoom in on that. And as you can see, this is a densely populated area. And this was a Friday, so many people were out enjoying their night
This
off of
was
work,
Good
getting ready to
Friday.
enjoy the weekend. And then this, huh?
This was Good Friday.
Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. But many people were out on the road. I don't know why I said work, but many people were out on the roads this night, driving, oblivious to what was coming. So, so this is the path, as you can see. The tornado would touch down in Missouri and end in Granite City, Illinois. It's kind of almost it's kind of not exactly similar, Mason, but it's kind of similar to the EF3 tornado that we saw hit St. Louis earlier this year. It kind of took almost the same path, except the other one went up this way and this one went like this. So
Yeah. I'm real quick trying to go ahead and get this to pop up. It's not
But
exactly
I
popping
real
up
quick
at the
want to pull
moment.
this tab back up too.
At the
Because as you can see,
moment, I'm
once
gonna
again,
real
this
quick
tight
put,
circulation right here, I'm going to go back to the track, and you see that tight circulation where the green and the red right here. I'm going to go back to the track, and that would be somewhere. Let me see. Let me see.
okay, let me see.
And that was roughly somewhere right around here is when this tornado
Gonna
is when you
press
see that debris
train
ball
to
up here on the roof.
see.
Somewhere roughly around here.
Yeah,
Right
I'm
around
trying to
here.
find this data here
Well, what data?
for the severe weather stuff. I'm gonna actually
But I'm going to
start.
keep on. But while you're taking care of that, I will take care of the I'll take care of the pictures and everything, and I'm about to show the damage photos from this thing. But this one I ain't gonna show because that's copyrighted. But I will show these. And I just want to show you some of the damage that this thing inflicted to Lambert St. Louis International Airport.
For 23.
There's some of the
Okay.
damage it inflicted to Lambert St. Louis International Airport,
Okay,
and
so that's
now take a good look at that, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, it seems like to me in the last couple of years, St. Louis has been a pretty much a hot spot in our area for tornadoes, at least, because we've had quite a few in the last. Let me see here. It's 2025. We've had quite a few in the last 14 years. So if you live in the St. Louis area, then I feel bad because you've had to see because stuff like this on this night must have been a horrifying sight to see. So I'm going to quickly share that. There's some more damage from the tornado that hit St. Louis, and then I'm also going to
By the way, let me real quick go ahead and pop something up real quick. So,
hold on a second. I'm
I'm
going to
going
show this real quick. Hold on,
I was about to show something.
1 second.
So, okay, so,
And 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 as you can see, this is a neighborhood in St. Louis before the
oh, I'm
EF4
sorry,
tornado came through the city, and
it
then
popped off.
this is after. So you see before and after. So as you can see, utter and total
Okay.
devastation. And this was on this night. This must have been a horrifying sight to see. Whenever you're just trying to get ready for the weekend and enjoy, your weekend off and everything. But sadly,
hmm
many people in this thing's path were their homes were completely annihilated like this.
And by the way, this was the Storm Prediction Center outlook that day.
So this is a day one outlook on the night the tornado touchdown.
Yes. This was
Yep,
the
and as
day
you can
one that
see,
won at about, let me see what time it was at. 5:56 UTC, so the outlook may be different. I'll go back to it, see if anything changed from that outlook specifically. Nope, pretty much the same.
it's a
Pretty
slight.
much the same. And by the way, showing you this, you see, there's no enhanced risk. There was only four.
No,
There was only You didn't even have a
a
marginal
five.
risk. You didn't have. You only had three because this is a general thunderstorm
Yeah.
is right here. You only had that. So, and then I'll show you this one. And yeah, they upgraded it to a moderate risk later in the day with a 10% risk on southern Illinois, southeast Missouri into St. Louis.
So this was as the day progressed.
What? Yes. And then let's go
Okay.
ahead and go to the 20 hour, which remained the same, but no significant tornado probabilities. Like if a risk like this would be issued today, the 10% would have a hatch risk
Yeah. Of any
because
given point.
that's how they issue them these days. Then they had, this was the threat. Significant winds was was likely
And
that
there,
day.
and it looks like there was a pretty big hail possibility too down there in Missouri, parts of Oklahoma, and Arkansas.
And this was in part of our viewing area too
I know.
that this
It looks
occurred.
like it almost
And
got close
this
to where
was the
Perryville and Fredericktown are.
and this okay, so this was the so there is a moderate risk of severe thunderstorms for from parts of eastern Oklahoma through northwestern Arkansas into much of southern Missouri. There is a slight risk of severe weather that extends from Ohio, the mid the Ohio to Mississippi, mid Mississippi River valleys to the southern plains. Forecast remains on track across the region, including the moderate risk. For mesoscale details, refer to SPC mesoscale discussion 516 and 518. Let me see if I can find those mesoscale discussions real quick. And I'm
Okay.
gonna stop sharing my screen while I look for that.
All right. So I'll just keep. Just go back to. Let's go back to this. Let me see if I
11:04:22.
can find this.
It's gonna take a minute,
And it looks.
so it's gonna
I'll
take a
just
minute for
keep
me to pop
looking.
this up.
Yeah. And mind you, I'm just going to keep showing the damage and everything from the tornado that occurred on the night. So I'm going to go back to the NWS in St. Louis.
Okay, 518. That's not it. 17. Not it either. 515.
And mind you, ladies and
Okay,
gentlemen, here is another before and after of the tornado on that night. This is some more of the damage that the tornado caused along its path. As you can see, before and after.
okay, so this is a very interesting thing that I just found, real quick.
What's up?
So this was the mesoscale discussion that
Okay,
they
let
issued.
me let me put it back on my
So
screen. It's not showing up on the screen. Okay, there we go.
it just went out.
Okay.
It just came back. So this was they actually issued a moderate risk in the middle of the day. This was what it was for. They issued it at 10:44 a.m. They said upgrade to a
All
moderate
right.
risk at the 1630Z. So that occurred at 10:44 in the morning, saying, "Hey, you're going to need to be more concerned about this one." And then let me check this one real quick. And this was um this was a mesa skill discussion that I don't think I needed. I'm trying to see which one it's supposed to be. Okay, here we go. So tornado watch number 181. The severe weather threat for tornado watch 181. Okay, I'm gonna need to go ahead and go into the tornado watch archives real quick if you guys don't mind. And by the way, this is information you can readily get,
Yeah,
just to
on
let
the
everyone know. You can
SPC.
get, yes, you can get this on sbc.noaa.gov/archive. So, and here we go. Let's see, which one was it? 180 or 181? It was 181. Okay, so this was initial radar. This was issued at 550. Um, okay, so previous, previous. There we go. So the initial radar, so they issued this at 3. Their mesoscale discussions were more detailed back then for the
Yeah,
maps. I'm surprised, if I'm
so am
honest,
I.
if I'm honest with you. This is very
Detailed.
detailed, yeah. Okay, let's see. So they had in this one they had moderate risk of tornadoes, moderate risk of EF2 or higher. I can go to the bottom and see. Oh, I guess they don't have that yet. Dang. Okay, there we are. You still there, Nick? Nick?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Okay. So these were the probabilities for that watch. So probability of two or more tornadoes was a moderate risk. The probability of one or more EF2 to EF5 tornadoes were possible, up to 30%.
Yeah,
I
thirty
guess back
percent.
then they did not. I guess they did not observe EF the EF scale at the SBC at that moment specifically,
That's what it's looking like.
because it still says F2 to F5. even though we started using the EF scale back in 2007.
Yeah, it would change from the F scale to the EF scale.
Yeah, I'm real quick closing out of a lot of the windows. I'm gonna see if I got an email from the NWS or National Weather Service for the data records they asked for. Clearly, not. And that's okay. That's all right. And
Yes,
now
yeah,
my
that's all right.
screen is point blank. My computer is doing the thing again.
You still there, Mason? Mason. Mason. All right, looks like Mason lagged out on us, so I'm going to continue
Yeah,
on with this.
I'm gonna get
Let
this
me show you
to
all some more damage photos from this tornado
hello.
right here. Let me put this up on screen. This is some more damage from the tornado that occurred that occurred on Good Friday, and as you can see, total and other devastation was in its wake. It laid waste to anything that was in its path. And I'm going to show this one more time right here. This is the storm track. On this day, as you can see, the path, I'd say like right around here is when you really start to see this well-defined debris signature right here. Like right around here. And as you can see, that is a tight debris signature right there. That's debris right there, ladies and gentlemen. And then as you can see by the strong rotation right there. But, so yeah. Crazy thing to think about that. Yet another tornado hit St. Louis. So this tornado hit St. Louis back in 2011, and sadly earlier this year, a mile-wide EF3 tornado went through St. Louis. So St. Louis does not have the greatest record when it comes to tornadoes, but if any one of you that are watching this are from St. Louis or around the St. Louis metro, please feel free to chime in and give us your thoughts on both tornadoes, because I think we did an episode previously on that one tornado, and now we're doing an episode on this one. So feel free, if you were in St. Louis during this tornado, or if you were in St. Louis during the, I believe, May 16th, 2025 EF3 tornado, please feel free to give us your thoughts and chime in. I'm going to try to get a hold of Mason real quick. Hold on. Be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty, there we go. Now, not only are we going to be mentioning this tornado that hit St. Louis on Good Friday, but we will be also mentioning some of the tornadoes from April 25th through the 27th of 2011, because I believe that day in April 3rd, 1974 holds significance in the weather world, along with March 18th, 1925, and so on. Mason, are you there?
Guess who's back?
Alrighty.
And there we go. Okay,
All right. There we go. We're good now.
we're Gucci.
We are. All right. So
Yeah,
what happened? You lag out or something?
I guess I did. I don't really have much open on my computer, which this is why I said that my computer is giving out on me. So, trying
Whoops.
to get this thing to go ahead and let me close stuff. I'm gonna have to
And
close
now I'm going to
this
put this on
down.
screen too. I'm going to put this on screen. But as you can see by all the
Yeah.
damage and the debris ball and everything on radar, everyone, this tornado that went through St. Louis touched down about 7:59 p.m. and was on the ground till 8:31. It was on the ground for 32 minutes. This tornado would be rated EF4 with max winds at
Nick,
170 miles per hour, and the path length would be 21.3 miles. The tornado would
Nick,
cause
can you not hear
roughly
me?
$250 million in damage, and it unfortunately would cause 0 fatalities and 5 injuries. But what'd you say, Mason?
Um, I'm just gonna say for the rest of the stream, we'll maybe not be able to show images because I think the images and the screen sharing is messing up my feed.
It's all right. I got a couple pulled up if you need me to use them.
Like it's messing up my feed, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
Like it's lagging me if we show stuff. So I'm gonna try to get this to close everything out real quick.
but I'm gonna share this one more thing real quick because I also want to share this too because I believe. But as you can see, ladies and
It's
gentlemen,
I think it's
on
doing it
April
again.
22nd, 2011, a violent EF4 tornado with winds of 170 miles per hour struck the St. Louis metropolitan area. The tornado, which was the strongest hit St. Louis city or county since January 1967, moved through many suburbs and neighborhoods, damaging and destroying many homes and businesses. The worst damage was in the Bridgeton area, where a few homes were completely leveled. In its 21.3-mile path, the the track across St. Louis metropolitan area, the tornado damaged thousands of homes, left thousands without power, and caused heavy damage to St. Louis Lambert International Airport, closing it for nearly 24 hours. The tornado crossed into Illinois and tore roofs off homes in Granite City before dissipating. The tornado was part of a period of high-end tornado activity that preceded the 2011 super outbreak. And it looks like we lost Mason, so I'm gonna quickly see if he wants to move on to the next topic, which I believe would be the April 25th through the 27th. So I got that pulled up right here for you all to see. I just gotta get a hold of Mason real quick because he keeps lagging in and out. I don't know why. I think he said because he can't pull stuff. Was it because he couldn't pull stuff up on his screen, or was it because I was pulling the stuff up on my screen? Hold on. Okay, there we go. There we go. I was gonna say I just texted you.
Yeah, okay, so I don't think it's gonna hopefully it doesn't do the stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But
I was
unfortunately
gonna
it
say
may.
because if it keeps doing that on your screen,
Hold
I
on,
can
hold
open
on,
up the
hold on,
tabs
hold on.
on my side. Huh?
It was hold on.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and do your thing.
Let me see if I can hide this. Oh, of course it requires a plan.
I was gonna say because if pulling tabs up on your screen is slowing you down, then I can do it on my screen. But Mason, I just finished up on the St. Louis tornado. Do you want to move into the April 25th through the 27th? Because I can pull that up on my screen real quick.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I'm just gonna do this later.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go ahead and do all the uploading and all that later. Very unfortunate. What this has turned into. More technical difficulties with this computer. Unfortunately, so that's the situation. Oh, are you kidding me?
Yeah. But I'm gonna quickly since we're gonna be talking about that, I wanna a transition from the St. Louis tornado to the April 25th through the 27th. I mean, it does mention the 28th, but we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about April,
We can
mostly
we
April
can
27th.
we can also talk about the 28th if you want to.
Yeah, we can. And it says, and then this is an article that I'm going to read. The 2011 super outbreak was the largest and costliest tornado outbreak ever recorded, taking place in southern, midwestern, and northeastern United States from April 25th through the 28th, leaving catastrophic damage in its wake. Over 175 tornadoes struck Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee, which were the most severely damaged states. Other destructive tornadoes occurred in Arkansas, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, and Virginia, with storms also affecting other states in the southern and eastern United States. In total, 368 tornadoes were confirmed, and in 21 states, from Texas to New York to southern Canada. Widespread and destructive tornadoes occurred on each day of the outbreak. April 27th was the most active day, with a record 224 tornadoes touching down that day from midnight to midnight. 4 of the tornadoes received an EF5 rating, and which is the highest ranking on the enhanced Fujita scale. Typically, these tornadoes are recorded no more than once a year. In total, 348 people were killed as a result of this outbreak, including 324 related deaths across 6 states and 24 fatalities caused by other thunderstorm-related events such as straight-line winds, hail, flash flooding, or lightning in Alabama alone.
All right. So we're
In
gonna
Alabama. Hold on a second.
Nick.
What's up? I'm not. I just want to finish up on this article.
Okay, so I'm gonna want to go ahead and we're gonna have to speed up a tiny bit
Okay.
because
Okay, here.
okay.
Let's go ahead and skip most
I'll
of
start
it.
reading if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead, bud.
The outbreak was caused by a ferocious upper level trough that moved into the southern plain states on April 25th. An extratropical cyclone developed along this upper level trough between northeastern Oklahoma and western Missouri and moved northeastward. Conditions were similar on April 26th, with a predicted likelihood of severe weather, including an extended threat of strong to violent long-track tornadoes throughout the afternoon and evening. Mixed layer Cape values were forecasted to be around 3,000 to 4,000 joules per kilogram.
That's absolutely insane.
Around East Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. The storm mode on April 26 was predicted to include mostly discrete tornadic supercells during both the afternoon and the early evening, shifting over to a mesoscale convective complex with more of a threat of damaging winds and hail during the nighttime. As the storm system moved eastward towards Ohio, Mississippi, and Tennessee valleys on April 27th, a very powerful 80 to 100 knot mid-level jet stream moved into the Ohio and Tennessee valleys behind the trough and created strong wind shear along with the low pressure center moving quickly northeastward across those areas on April 27th. Excuse me. During the afternoon of April 27th, Cape values were estimated to be in the range of 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram.
That's absolutely insane.
Across Louisiana and southern Mississippi, with the moderate instability moving northeastward across the southern Tennessee Valley. Additionally, temperatures across the southeastern United States ranged from the 70s to the lower 90s. Helicity levels range from 450 meters squared per second squared to 600 meters squared per second squared. which supported some significant tornado activity and strong to violent long track tornadoes.
And mind you, on the morning of April 27th, 2011, there was already storms going on before the main outbreak would occur, and there was a power plant, Mason, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was in Mississippi and Alabama. The power was knocked out at this, I think it was a nuclear power plant or something like that, or it was a power plant, and it knocked out the power for a good portion of Mississippi and Alabama, leaving most of the people, about 2 or 3 million in its path, in total darkness for the monsters that would come later in the afternoon.
Okay, so I'm gonna go through statistics real quick here. So the highest wind for a tornado in this outbreak was recorded with the Hackleburg Philip Campbell tornado that occurred on the 27th with 210 miles per hour. The highest gust non-tornadic was 113 miles per hour, and this was near Bay, Arkansas.
My lord.
Which Bay, Arkansas has seen its fair share of tornadoes over the last several years.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
Which, for reference, Bay is actually in Craighead County, Arkansas, which its county seat is Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Oh, yeah, Jonesboro has seen quite its fair share of tornadoes as of late.
Including March 28th, 2020.
And it also had some tornadoes near it on the December 10th outbreak. The December 10th outbreak.
Area. And Region 8, the news station in Jonesboro, actually caught the tornado on their Skycam from start to as it was heading towards Brooklyn.
Crazy.
Anyway, let's go back to the synopsis. So, a total of 56 severe weather watches were issued by the Storm Prediction Center over those 4 days in the outbreak area. This included 41 tornado watches, 10 of which were PDS watches, and 15 severe thunderstorm watches. The Storm Prediction Center assigns numbers to each weather watch issued starting at the beginning of each year. The organization unsuccessfully used 2 of their calculated watch numbers during this outbreak, numbers 208 and 209. Meaning they skipped 2 numbers on their watches. April 25th. We're going to start with April 25th.
Okay, I got all the ones that I want to talk about on the 27th pulled up. Whenever you get done talking about the 25th and the 26th, I'll go ahead and get a start because I got everything all pulled up right here, the tracks and everything.
I'm going to talk about the synopsis first of those days.
No. Yeah, no, go ahead. I just wanted to let you know that whenever you want to talk about April 27th and the tornadoes that we are going to mention, I got them all pulled up just whenever you need me to put them up, I will.
So, we're starting on April 25th. April 25th, a large area of possible severe storms for April 25th through the 27th was forecast as the Storm Prediction Center issued a moderate risk of severe weather for 3 consecutive days centered over Arkansas through Tennessee. At 3:25 p.m. Central Daylight Time, the Storm Prediction Center issued a PDS tornado watch for much of Arkansas and parts of Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, and Louisiana. By the evening of April 25th, tornadoes had been reported across a few states, some of which caused significant damage in Arkansas. An intense supercell thunderstorm tracked near the Little Rock area, and a tornado emergency was declared for the city of Bologna. A large EF2 wedge tornado struck the town, subsequently causing severe damage and killing 4 people. A strong EF3 tornado had also struck the Hot Springs Village area earlier that evening. That tornado caused severe damage and resulted in one death. Later that evening, another EF2 tornado caused extensive damage to both a school building and Little Rock Air Force Base as well. Severe flooding continued across a large area from the Red River Valley to the Great Lakes. A total of 42 tornadoes and 5 tornado-related deaths were confirmed on the 25th.
Man.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the 26th
Okay.
description. So, a high risk of severe weather was issued for April 26th for portions of Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas along and near the I-30 corridor. As conditions became more favorable for extreme weather, a large PDS tornado watch with very high probabilities for tornadoes was issued for that same area that afternoon. Widespread tornado warnings were issued in that area later that evening. An upper level negatively tilted trough with 2 embedded short waves generated 2 surface lows that propagated generally east. One of the surface lows tracked northeast across the Mississippi River into Wisconsin as it occluded. Tornado watches were issued for the lower Great Lakes during the afternoon as supercell thunderstorms developed along the warm front, lifting north across central Michigan. 2 tornadoes touched down in Michigan and caused damage to farm structures. Further east, severe thunderstorms caused scattered wind damage and large hail across Pennsylvania and New York. 2-inch in diameter hail was reported in Lock Haven, Pennsylvania. An isolated supercell moved across central New York throughout much of the afternoon, producing golf ball-sized hail in Syracuse and spawning a very brief EF1 tornado in Verona Mills, which primarily caused damage to trees. Another tornado, this one being in Gilbertsville, caused significant damage to a school's athletic field, which Gilbertsville is in New York.
Yeah.
The second surface low corresponded to an area of stronger upper level divergence ahead of the downstream shortwave at the low formed across Texas and deepened while moving east. A tightening pressure gradient force further strengthened the low level jet, therefore creating a broad warm sector across the southeastern states. This also generated stronger wind shear, providing better organization for the supercells as a result. Numerous tornadoes touched down across several states, including Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas. Most of the tornadoes were weak, but a few of them caused considerable damage. A long track wedge tornado caused EF2 damage in rural portions of Texas and Louisiana. An EF3 tornado destroyed structures and caused severe damage at Fort Campbell as well. A total of 55 tornadoes were confirmed on the 26th. No fatalities occurred. And then we move on to the 27th, which the 27th is actually, in the synopsis, is actually divided into several parts. We're not talking about tornado tracks yet. We're talking about synopsis.
Oh, let me go over to this then. Oops. Did not mean to do that. All right, let me
We're
look
gonna
at.
talk
Let
about
me
synopsis real quick. And you can put the
Okay.
27th outlook on the screen if you want to, because it's there.
There we go.
So, overnight severe weather persisted into the early morning hours of April 27th and would continue virtually unbroken for the remainder of the day. Okay, can you convert 6:10 UTC to normal daylight savings time for me?
Yeah, hold on. 6 UTC to daylight savings time, you said?
6:10 UTC to Central Daylight Savings Time.
Yeah, hold on. 6 p.m. UTC.
6 a.m. UTC.
Oh,
Oh, never mind. So at 1:10 a.m. Central Daylight Time, the Storm Prediction Center issued a second consecutive high-risk day one outlook featuring a 30% hatch risk of tornadoes centraled over northern Alabama. At 11:30 a.m. Central Daylight Time, this region was expanded to include portions of eastern and Mississippi, southern Tennessee, and northwest Georgia. Additionally, an exceedingly rare 45% hatched
and
risk of tornadoes
I will
was introduced along a
and I
corridor from Meridian, Mississippi to Huntsville, Alabama.
will
Environmental
put that on the
conditions
screen.
continued to be extremely favorable for discrete tornadic supercells throughout the day. All right, we're going to move on to the
And
morning
and
squall lines. During the early
hold on one
morning,
more second.
a
Hold
cold
on one more
front
second.
with. I wanted to
Did you hear me?
mention the morning squall line as well because that's also important.
Yeah. I just want to make one thing clear before me and Mason get into this. If you are not a weather freak, this is what got me into tornadoes whenever I was younger. Because on this day, ladies and gentlemen, I know we have not seen a day like this since there was 4 EF5s and 11 EF4s on this day, and this day was the most violent tornado day that the United States has had since 1974. So I just wanted to put that out there.
That was the last super outbreak was in 74.
Yeah. All right, but I'll let you do your thing, and let me know if you need me to pull this up. Do you want me to leave this up?
You can leave that up if you want to. So,
Okay, yeah.
all right, so the morning squall lines. During the early morning, a cold front with several embedded low pressure areas extended from East Texas northeastward into the Ohio River Valley. An upper level disturbance that had moved across the frontal boundary the previous evening sparked an area of thunderstorms that morphed into a squall line. This line of severe thunderstorms would produce tornadic activity from the evening on April 26th into late morning of April 27th. Early in the morning, the squall line, packing straight line winds and numerous embedded tornadoes, moved through Louisiana, Mississippi before proceeding to affect northern and central Alabama and parts of middle and east Tennessee. The line strengthened as it moved through Alabama, partially due to the high amount of low-level moisture from the Gulf of Mexico and increasing wind shear. A majority of the tornadoes embedded in this initial squall line were weak, though several were strong and as such caused significant damage. An EF3 tornado caused major damage to homes in Coaling, Alabama. An EF2 and an EF3 tornado produced damage and a fatality near Aurora, Mississippi. Another EF3 tornado resulted in heavy damage in downtown Cordova, Alabama, which was
Hit
struck
by an EF4 tornado
by a
later in the
violent
day.
EF4 later in the day. An
Yeah, I was
EF2
gonna say, yeah, it was
An
struck by an
EF2
EF4
also
later on.
struck Calbria Heights near Birmingham. One embedded cell began producing tornadoes around just after 5 a.m. Central Daylight Time, starting with an EF1 tornado striking Barry, Alabama. This was soon followed by the Cordova EF3 tornado. As the line entered Coleman County, Alabama, the cell, a mesoscale convective vortex began exhibiting a comma head appearance and produced another long track EF2 tornado that struck the town of Huntsville, killing one person. The MCV would produce 13 tornadoes, most rated EF1, to the northeast in Marshall County, many of which occurred simultaneously. Two more tornadoes were produced as the comma head shaped embedded cell continued northeast into the Jackson-DeKalb County line, including a long track EF1 that resulted in a fatality near Pisgah. The same area was later impacted later that day by a high-end EF4 tornado. Another EF1 tornado that resulted another EF1 tornado occurred in Dade County, Georgia, with the cell, and 6 more tornadoes struck Hamilton County, Tennessee, 5 of which were in the Chattanooga area. The 26th and final tornado produced by the MCV was an EF2 tornado in northern Bradley County, Tennessee, which hit at 9:45 Eastern Daylight Time. The initial storms caused widespread power and telephone line outages across Alabama and Tennessee, which this would be very important for later. This line of storms also caused some NOAA weather radio transmitter sites to stop functioning for the remainder of the outbreak. Because of this, more than 1 million customers were without power and had no warning of any approaching tornadoes later this day.
As I just said earlier.
Which I said at that point, which this would be important later.
Yeah, I know, but I just want to reiterate this, ladies and gentlemen. And mind you, I believe a lot of the portion of why there was a lot of death toll on this day was because like what you just said, over 1 million customers lost power, so they were unaware of the monsters that were coming ahead, or that were coming, and they were just totally in the dark, letting them to be totally oblivious to the onslaught that would come later on.
Okay, so I'm going to finish this morning squall line one. So,
yeah, no problem.
From the late morning to the early afternoon, another squall line moved through northern parts of Mississippi and Alabama as high wind shear and low-level moisture persisted. However, this time, several discrete supercells developed along and in front of the line, spawning 7 weak tornadoes across Morgan, Limestone, and Madison counties in northern Alabama around noon that day. And then we move on to the afternoon supercells.
And mind you, Limestone County would go on to play would go on to play a important role. I mean, would be later impacted by a tornado later in the day, but we're going to get to that.
So, the most intense supercells of the outbreak developed around midday in central Mississippi and began tracking eastward with the extreme instability and wind shear. Let me add real quick. So, when James Spann and Jason Simpson went live on ABC 3340 at 1 in the afternoon, a storm formed near Jasper in Alabama.
Yeah, I saw that.
Their systems, they didn't know that they went over 10 until that day. The instability was so much, it was at a 12.
So this is literally a day like this. This is literally this is what I call the day of the killer tornadoes. This is literally like a worst case scenario tornado apocalypse type of day, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and now we're going to go back into this. They quickly intensified and eventually became tornadic. Shortly thereafter, resulting in strong to violent tornadoes. Responding to the high risk issued by the Storm Prediction Center and the already unstable atmosphere expected to become even more unstable throughout the afternoon, a PDS tornado watch was issued at 1:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time for much of Alabama and portions of Mississippi, Tennessee, and Georgia. A widespread complex of supercell storms overspread the states of Mississippi and Alabama, and violent tornadoes began rapidly touching down as the afternoon progressed. By mid-afternoon, as wind shear and low-level moisture continued to dramatically increase, a tornado emergency was declared for Neshobe County, Mississippi, as a large tornado was located on the ground by both weather spotters and a camera on top of atop a television tower from ABC affiliate WTOK in Meridian, Mississippi. This powerful EF5 tornado caused incredible damage northeast of Philadelphia, Mississippi, where
I will go ahead and put that
was
on
torn
screen.
off the roads, vehicles were thrown, and the ground was scoured out to the depth of 2 feet by the tornado.
Yep. And that is some of the most extreme ground scouring I have ever seen. And the tornado Mason is talking about, ladies and gentlemen, I already have that pulled up. I will put that on screen now, so that way you can have an idea.
This is in the synopsis. Oh, wait, you have to also make sure it's not copyrighted.
It's not. It's on Wikipedia.
Sometimes it's copyrighted. Like, you have to click on the picture.
Hold on, let me see. Nope, there's no thing
like
on it, so we're good.
The one that's on the synopsis page, this picture's on the synopsis page. It's public domain, so if it says public domain, then you're good. You go back to the tornado outbreak page, and then go to the synopsis. Tornado outbreak, not the tornado itself. The tornado outbreak.
Okay, let me go down.
That's not the tornado outbreak. That's just a tornado.
Let me go back.
The one tornado.
Trying to find it.
I think you have to backspace or just search 2011 super outbreak in the thing up on top.
Yeah. All right, but I'll go ahead and take this off the screen. And do you want me just to
like
show
I have
this
it on
picture?
my screen? I can see it, but I can't show it because it's my my screen isn't exactly working.
Let me look it up.
So go to 2011 super outbreak on your. Hold on. One moment. I'm gonna send something through Discord.
Okay.
It'll be the link to that picture. So hopefully this will make it a little bit easier.
I haven't got it yet. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Do you want me to put this on my screen?
Yeah. Is it pop up the photo?
Yeah, it pops up of the picture you just sent on Discord. Do you want me to go ahead and share this?
Yes, because it's from the National Weather Service. Oh, that's not it.
Oh, whoopsie. Sorry.
Click on the link.
Okay, let me go back. Let me take this
You have to
photo
click on
off.
the link, not the picture.
Let me go back to Discord. All right, let me go back to Discord.
The link should take you to the picture.
There, it just shows the ground scouring for
yeah, that's the picture I want you to show.
All right, and mind you, well, here, let me do this real quick, and then as you're looking at this photo, I'm going to go ahead and read off the description.
So it says extremely deep ground
Oops, I'm
scoundrelling
sorry.
near
I'm a
Philadelphia,
wrong one.
Mississippi, caused by a
Wrong one.
fast-moving EF5 tornado that killed 3 people. And that was the one
And
that I was reading about a
And
second
mind you,
ago.
ladies and gentlemen, this tornado would be the first EF5 of the day. This tornado would roughly touch down about 2:30 p.m. and dissipate around 3 p.m. It would be on the ground for 30 minutes, travel a total of 28.28 miles. Highest wind speeds were at 205 miles per hour. The tornado, like Mason said, would tragically kill 3 people and injure 8, causing a total of $1.1 million in damage. And the areas affected were, I'm not even going to try to pronounce these counties, but as you can see through the damage right here, this is some, Mason, I have to tell you, I have seen lots of pictures of ground scouring and tornado damage, but this is some of the most extreme ground
Hey, by the
scouring
way,
I have
Neshoba
ever
County.
seen.
By the way,
Huh?
it's Neshoba County.
Okay.
Neshoba County. I'll have to real quick go ahead and check to see how
And
they
by
pronounce it.
This is some of the most extreme ground scouring I have ever seen. Like, mind you, I have seen EF5 and F5 damage from multiple tornadoes, but I have never, ever seen ground scouring this bad. And you have to think, this tornado was moving at highway speeds, which this thing would have only been over this briefly and then caused this type of destruction, which was crazy. I wonder what the inside of the core was like.
All right, we're going to move on to more. In this
More?
synopsis,
Oh,
because we're still in the synopsis.
okay.
Another very long tracked EF4 tornado passed near the town of Enterprise, Mississippi, killing 7 people before crossing into Alabama and eventually dissipating. 4 tornadoes were officially rated EF5 that day.
On this day.
One of those EF5
Yep.
tornadoes struck the town of Smithville, Mississippi, which
I'll go
many
ahead and pull that up.
well-built brick homes were reduced to bare slabs. Numerous hardwood trees were completely debarked, and an SUV was hurled half a mile into the top of the town's water tower.
I'm gonna go ahead and share some of the. I'm gonna go ahead and share some of the damage from the Smithfield tornado.
A visible dent. Another long track EF5 wedge tornado passed through rural portions of Alabama and Tennessee, becoming the deadliest tornado of the outbreak as it completely
The
devastated.
Hackleburg and Phil Campbell tornado.
Oh my goodness.
Hold on a second, Mason. But before we move on to the Hackleburg and Phil Campbell tornado, I want to mention this. Mind you, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, this was a large, well-built, anchored home, and this F5 completely swept it clean off of its foundation. Yeah, well, it's fine, but EF5, but this tornado completely swept this home clean off of its foundation, and as you can see, this tornado would be on the ground for about 41 minutes. And this
finish the synopsis. I won't be able to get through the synopsis this way. Okay. You want me to continue it?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, this tornado became the deadliest tornado of the outbreak as it completely devastated the towns of Hackleburg, Phil Campbell, Mount Hope, Tanner, and Harvest, killing 72 people. This marks only the second day in history after April 3rd, 1974, there were more than 2 F5/EF5 tornadoes reported. The tornadoes continued tracking through central Alabama that afternoon into the early evening. A dangerous, destructive tornado struck the city of Coleman, Alabama at around 3 p.m. Central Daylight Time. This large, multi-vortex tornado was captured on several tower cameras from television stations such as Fox affiliate WBRC Channel 6 and ABC 3340, both out of Birmingham. The tornado caused extensive destruction in the city's downtown area. It was ultimately rated EF4. The final damage count was 867 residences and 94 businesses in Coleman. 6 people died as well. The town of Cordova, Alabama, which had already been damaged by an EF3 tornado for the initial round of storms, was struck by an EF4 tornado that killed 13. Two violent EF4 tornadoes also ripped through Jackson County, Alabama, one of which caused a fatality near Bridgeport, while the other passed near Bisgar and into Georgia, which it caused major damage in Trenton and killed 14. At around 5:10 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a very large and exceptionally destructive tornado struck Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and about 40 minutes later, that same tornado struck the northern suburbs of nearby Birmingham. A tornado emergency was issued for both cities, along with many other cities that day. Many television stations, including WBRC and ABC 3340, as well as Channel 42, broadcast live footage of this long track tornado in both Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. A debris ball was observed by the Birmingham NAXRAD, indicating the tornado was causing extreme damage. And by the way, this was before there was correlation coefficient.
Yeah, this took place way before we had correlation coefficients. I mean, can you
Only 3
imagine
years.
what that would have
Actually,
looked
only
like
3
on
years.
this day?
We got
Huh?
correlation coefficient in 2014.
Yeah, I know. This would take place
So
3
3 years.
years before the correlation coefficient would be a thing. Can you imagine if we had a correlation coefficient on this day, Mason?
There would be a lot more, you'd get a lot more damage reports and a lot more of that stuff. Okay.
Absolutely.
This tornado would be the second deadliest of the outbreak, killing 64 people and caused extensive devastation in densely populated areas. And the tornado struck several of the small communities as the April 1956 F4, the April 1977 F5, and the April 1998 F5 tornadoes that hit portions of the Birmingham area. The supercell that produced the Tuscaloosa Birmingham EF4 tornado originated in Newton County, Mississippi. The same supercell produced another EF4 later that evening that killed 22 people and struck the Ottauquechee, Alabama area and eventually crossed into Georgia, causing another additional damage near Cave Springs before dissipating. Further to the south, a mile-wide EF3 tornado killed 7 people in mostly rural areas and caused major damage to the small town of Oline. The final EF5 tornado of the day caused remarkable damage in and around the town of Rainsville, Alabama, killing 25 people before crossing into Georgia and dissipating. Tornadoes continued to touch down further to the northeast as sunset, particularly in Georgia. This included a long track EF4 tornado that caused major
Ringgold.
damage in Ringgold, Georgia, Opposite, Tennessee, and Cleveland, Tennessee, killing 20 people along the path After dark, violent tornadoes continued to touch down. A nighttime EF4 tornado destroyed many lake house homes at Lake Martin in eastern Tennessee. Not Tennessee, eastern Alabama, excuse me, killing 7 people. Additional strong nighttime tornadoes occurred in Georgia, including an EF3 tornado that killed 2 people in Barnesville and another EF3 tornado that destroyed homes and killed 1 person at Lake Burton. Continued activity further east. Powerful tornadoes touched down across Tennessee as well as that evening. A violent EF4 tornado struck the community of New Harmony, Tennessee, where homes were leveled, vehicles were tossed, and 4 people were killed. On January 23rd, 2025, Anthony W. Lisa with the National Severe Storms Laboratory, along with Harold E. Brooks and Mackenzie J. Crossa with the University of Oklahoma's School of Meteorology, published a paper to the American Meteorological Society where they stated that the tornado in New Harmony was a EF5 candidate. The paper was of the opinion that the EF5 starting wind speed should be 190 instead of 201 miles per hour. 2 EF3 tornadoes crossed paths in Greene and Washington counties, coming a couple of hours apart, resulting in 8 fatalities. The rural communities of Horse Creek and Camp Creek suffered major damage from those tornadoes later that evening. A very large EF4 wedge tornado leveled a mile-wide swath of forest through 14 miles of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, resulting in many trails being closed. At the Chattahoochee Lake, a large metal power line truss towers were torn and thrown from their concrete supports as they were anchored to. A secondary area of severe weather also developed that afternoon and continued. Hold on. A secondary area of severe weather also developed that afternoon and evening along a corridor extending from central and northern Virginia northward through Maryland, Pennsylvania, and New York, continuing into the early morning hours of April 28th. Many tornadoes touched down in this area as well. Many of these tornadoes were weak, though an EF2 tornado touched down near the town of Halifax, Virginia, and caused severe damage to homes in the area, resulting in 1 death. Tornado alerts were also issued for southern Ontario as far north as Ottawa as well. 1 tornado was later confirmed in Fergus, Ontario, Canada. And then here's an overview. So a statewide review.
Are you still on the synopsis at the moment?
Yes, this is in the synopsis. So a statewide review by emergency management officials recorded 249 fatalities in Alabama as of the morning of April 30th, 23 of which were not tornado related. Eventually, a total of 338 related tornado related deaths would be confirmed in the state. Damage and power outages in the Huntsville area were so widespread that at one point over 650,000 people were out of power in the Tennessee Valley Authority area system. The EF5 tornado that struck Hackleburg and Phil Campbell damaged main high transmission power lines coming from Brown's Fury nuclear power plant near Tanner. These towers were the main supply of electrical power to much of North Alabama, and some were without power for 2 weeks. The tornado just missed the Limestone Correctional Facility, which less than a year later would be struck by another tornado. The Storm Prediction Center received 292 reports of tornadoes in the preceding 24 hours. In addition to setting the record for most tornadoes in a calendar day, 223, midnight to midnight Central Daylight Time. It also broke the record for most tornado touchdowns in any 24-hour period, 226, from 12:40 a.m. to 12:40 a.m., April 27th and 28th, breaking the old 24-hour record easily of 148 set by the 1974 super outbreak. Of those 226 tornadoes, 59 touched down in Alabama and 83 began in Tennessee,
And
accounting for
Mason,
62.8% of the tornadoes that touched down on April 27th. On April 27th alone, the National Weather Service in Huntsville issued 92 tornado warnings, 31 severe thunderstorm warnings, and 7 flash flood warnings. This is just for the National Weather Service in Huntsville.
that's insane, by the way.
And then
And
we move on to April 28th synopsis.
wait a minute. Hold on a second. I was wanting to ask you. I got all these tabs pulled up for the tornadoes. I got the tracks and the damage and everything. Did you want me to show all of it?
I'm just going to try to get the synopsis up real quick for y'all so that.
Okay, just let me know when you need me to pull up the tabs because I got about like 13. I got about like 8 or 9 tabs open for the tornadoes on the 27th. Just let me know when you want me to put them up because I went ahead and put that one of the tabs I had up whenever you were talking about the tornado reports on that day. So
Okay, so all right, tornado. Okay, so this was April 28th. Tornado watches were issued for the Atlantic coast from Pennsylvania to Florida at the start of the day and continued through the morning and early afternoon. But tornadoes were forecasted to generally be weaker and more isolated. Despite this, the secondary portion of the outbreak that had began scattered tornadoes throughout the mid-Atlantic and East Coast regions the previous evening intensified from the early morning, producing numerous tornadoes. Excuse me. A particularly active region in which there were some strong tornadoes was the I-81 corridor extending from southwest Virginia northward through the Shenandoah Valley and into Pennsylvania and New York. This included the deadly EF3 tornado that struck the town of Glad Springs, Virginia, very early in the morning, where 3 people died. Tornadoes were also reported in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Maryland. Most of these tornadoes were leak, although tornado watches were issued. No tornadoes were spotted in New Jersey or Washington, D.C. In the wake of the tornadoes and severe weather and severe storms, widespread flooding hit the Midwest, South, and Eastern Seaboard, with extensive flood and flash flood warnings issued. And this was a very major flooding situation as our region from the 25th through the 28th received almost 30 inches of rain.
my lord,
That's in southern Illinois, southeast Missouri, and western Kentucky.
yeah.
So I don't remember it raining a lot, but I probably should have. But
I don't remember any rain from that day.
So the 25th, we got a lot of rain. That's all I gotta say about that. So,
Yeah.
and then the last tornadoes of the outbreak touched down that afternoon in eastern North Carolina, which was hit hard in the April 16th outbreak. Though the tornadoes that impacted the area this time around were weak. The system moved out into the Atlantic Ocean that evening, with the exception of isolated thunderstorms over central Florida that night into April 29th, though no more tornadoes were produced. That was the end of the synopsis from the 25th through the 28th.
Alrighty, Mason. Man, I can't believe you talked for almost 40 minutes, man. Do you need a drink or something after all of that? I was trying to chime in and show pictures here and there, but I was trying to save them for when I
Yeah,
actually
I
bring
was
up
trying to
the tornadoes.
get me going
The
ahead and
synopsis
talking
out
about
the
it
way.
over
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
so that everybody, you are seeing probably history happening.
Yeah, this may be our longest episode yet because I got a bunch of tabs open that I would love to show to the viewers. If you would like to take a break, Mason, and get something to drink and I'm collect your voice a little bit, I can take over for a minute and start on the tornadoes from the 27th because I think I
Yeah, you
said
can go ahead
previously
and do
before.
that.
Yeah, I was gonna say because, Bud, you probably need a minute to rest, buddy, because you talked for quite a while there, buddy. You all right though?
Yeah, I'm good. I just opened
Okay,
the window.
okay. I'm just making sure you're good before I start. uh, but
And
I just want to make
actually, I'm
this.
gonna real quick go ahead and go through statistics.
Yeah, go ahead.
Excuse me. Okay, so during this outbreak, there were 368 total tornadoes.
I think it was 216 on one day alone.
224 in one day.
Oh, okay.
That was on the 27th. So I'm going to go through these statistics. So I'm going to go through April 25th first. So
Okay.
there were 42 total tornadoes. So 17 were EF0, 20 were EF1, 4 were EF2, 1 was EF3, 0 were EF4 and EF5s. Moving on, there were 5 deaths and 59 injuries that day. Moving on to the 26th, there were 55 tornadoes, 31 of which were EF0, 19 of which were EF1, 4 EF2s, and 1 EF3, resulting in 0 deaths and 4 injuries. April 27th, there were a total of 224 tornadoes, 72 of which were EF0, with an asterisk of 1 tornado being in Ontario, Canada.
Yeah.
81 were EF1s, 36 were EF2s, 20 were EF3s, 11 were EF4s, and 4 were EF5s, resulting in 316 deaths and 2,986 plus injuries. Which on this day, this was more injuries than the tri-state tornado.
It's like I said earlier. There's only been a few tornadoes that I would label as the tornado apocalypse. Like there's only 3. There's a couple days that come to my mind, like just previously mentioned, the 1974 super outbreak, this one, the tri-state, and a couple of others. But this is literally what I call the day of the killer tornadoes.
All right, so we're going to move on real quick. April 28th, there were 47 tornadoes, 18 of which were EF0,
23 were EF1s, 5 were EF2s, 1 was EF3, and there were 0 EF4s and EF5s, resulting in 3 deaths and 51 injuries. A record 368 tornadoes touched down over the span of 4 days. 37 of which were EF3 plus tornadoes. 4 tornadoes were at EF5, behind only the 1974 super outbreak, which there were 7 F5s during that event. So not more than that one, but this one likely had longer track tornadoes than that, though.
Absolutely. Especially the Hackleberg and Phil Campbell tornado.
All right, so I'm going to real quick go into all these tornadoes that they have confirmed. So, Verona, Arkansas. The first tornado of the outbreak to cause more than 1 death was this long track, high-end EF2 wedge tornado that struck the small town of Verona in Faulkner County, Arkansas, which this tornado was on the ground for. This tornado warning was issued roughly 30 minutes prior to the tornado's arrival, and the relatively low loss of life was attributed to this lead time. A tornado emergency was declared at 7:24 p.m. for the city shortly before the tornado struck. 4 people were killed in the town and many more were injured. The tornado touched down in northwest of Farmdale and Pulaski County. At 6:48 p.m., downing trees and transmission towers at EF1 intensity. It continued northeast of Natural Steps, severely damaging a small church and downing numerous trees, one of which landed on a house. The tornado continued to knock down trees as it passed near Roland, several of which landed on homes. The tornado reached EF2 strength as it crossed into Faulkner County and passed southeast of Mayflower, downing numerous trees and power lines and damaging homes and outbuildings. Past Mayflower.
I just want to quickly chime in for a second. Just 3 years after this EF2 tornado would strike Mayflower, a EF4 tornado would strike Mayflower and Valonia.
And yeah, we're currently talking about the EF2 that occurred during the super outbreak.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that off as a side note.
By the way, let me click on this picture real quick. By the way, the picture that from the outbreak thing for the Verona tornado cannot be used because it's copyrighted.
Okay.
I just want to let you know real quick.
All right. But I just want to let you know before we go any deeper. I got the Hackleberg, Phil Campbell, Smithville, Tuscaloosa, Rainsville, and Coleman tornado all pulled up. Just let me know when you need me to start talking.
You also need to check every single picture in the background to see if they're.
I have. I've been doing that while you was doing the synopsis a while ago.
Okay. So I just wanted to let you know that. So.
Yeah, no, you're good, buddy. I get you.
All right. Past Mayflower, it continued towards Verona and struck a mobile home park, where numerous mobile homes were destroyed, and the 4 fatalities occurred. 2 of the fatalities occurred when a couple attempted to take shelter in a cargo container, which was thrown 150 yards and deposited near a pond. Several other people were injured in the area as well. The tornado maintained EF2 intensity as it moved directly through Valonia, damaging numerous homes and businesses and flipping several trucks. Sorry. The American Red
You're good.
Cross indicated that approximately 34 site-built homes and 62 mobile homes were destroyed. 91 site-built homes and 41 mobile homes suffered major damage. 145 site-built homes and 45 mobile homes had minor damage, and 53 site-built homes and 38 mobile homes were affected in some other way in the Verona area. One of the mobile homes was packed up and flipped. The home's 2 bathtubs were found over the hill about 40 yards away. The lone accompaniment of the mobile homes sustained major injuries. After moving through Verona, the tornado weakened to EF1 intensity as it moved into White County and passed west of El Paso, Arkansas, where trees were blown over onto houses, damaging several roofs, barns, and outbuildings were destroyed. An RV and the trailer portion of a tractor trailer were overturned and hundreds of trees were downed. The tornado dissipated north of Joy at 7:59 p.m. after having traveled over 51 miles. At its widest point, the tornado was 1.64 miles wide. Almost a 2-mile wide tornado.
My lord.
Following the tornado, 85 members of the United States National Guard were deployed to assist in search and rescue, debris clearing, security, and traffic control. On April 27th, 2014, 3 years and 2 days after this tornado, a violent EF4 tornado touched down west of Varndale and moved along almost the same path of this tornado, causing 16 fatalities and multiple injuries. However, it affected more of Mayflower than this tornado did and caused greater damage along the path, especially in Verona, before lifting near El Paso.
Valonia, but I get you.
Valonia. Okay, so again, this tornado caused 4 fatalities and 16 injuries. And if you want to start talking about the Philadelphia, Kemper County, Mississippi tornado, that's where we're going into.
Absolutely. Let me pull the track up, because like I said, ever since you've been doing the synopsis, I got the track and I got every single little minute detail down, because I'm sorry, I'm just a bit of a I'm just a bit of a nerd when it comes to this stuff. I'm sorry about that, but I just want to talk. I'm going to start talking about the 2011 Philadelphia, Mississippi EF5. Now, this would be the first EF5 of the day. During the afternoon hours of April 27th, 2011, a extremely powerful and fast-moving EF5 multi-vortex tornado known commonly as the Philadelphia, Mississippi tornado, or the Philadelphia, Mississippi EF5, touched down in eastern Mississippi, causing catastrophic damage to the northern outskirts of the town of Philadelphia. Part of the historic 2011 super outbreak, the largest tornado on record, this was the first of 4 EF5s to touch down that day. The first such in Mississippi since the 1966 Candlestick Park tornado. While on the ground for 30 minutes, it traveled 28.28 miles through 4 counties, leaving behind 3 deaths, 8 injuries, and $1.1 million in damage. And now I got some photos to show you. This is some.
You have to also look at the. You have to also look at the picture that it shows on the Outbreak thing. You can't use because it says fair use, and that's owned by Reed Timmer.
What? Oh well, I'll just show the picture you talked about earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. I'm gonna share this
Like,
tab, and now let me show you something else, ladies. Now let me show you this, ladies and gentlemen. This right here, what you were seeing, is called ground scouring. And mind you,
oh,
this tornado was
we already showed that earlier.
oh well, let me show this one then. But this tornado was moving at highway speeds, and it caused this type of damage. And mind you, it was only over this area for just a short while, but yet it caused this type of destruction. Now, this is what we call ground scouring. And if you see, that tree is completely uprooted and out of the ground, and the tornado scoured the ground right here and literally pulled grass out of the roots, exposing bare soil.
Hey,
And
did you check the labeling on that one?
there was none.
Does it say public domain on it?
I think so.
Because you have to make sure it says public domain.
I think so, but yeah, we're good. But like I said, this will be the first EF5 of the day, and then the next EF5 that I want to talk about, as you all can see that damage right here. The
I'm
next
gonna
tornado that I
actually
want
stop you right
the
there so
next
that we can.
the next
We're gonna
tornado that I wanted.
the
What?
next tornado. Oh, I'm sorry. So we're gonna real quick go into this one, which there's some controversy with this one.
Which one?
The Coleman Arab EF4. So
Okay.
rated at a high-end EF4, this highly visible multi-vortex tornado tracked directly through downtown Coleman. The tornado touched down at 2:40 p.m. Central Daylight Time and tracked a 47-mile damage path through Coleman, Morgan, and Marshall counties in Alabama, causing 6 deaths. The Coleman tornado first touched down on the north side of Lewis Smith Lake and caused light structural damage near Crane Hill before intensifying and tracking directly towards Coleman. Several trees and heavily sapping several trees and heavily damaging several buildings, several homes. The tornado entered Coleman while being tracked and broadcast live via tower cameras, including those operated by Birmingham Fox affiliate Channel 6 and ABC 3340 for several minutes. The ABC 3340 camera captured the destruction of the communications tower belonging to Coleman area low power television station WCQT LP, which means low power,
Yeah.
as the tornado ripped through the city at EF3 intensity. Radio stations in downtown Coleman also reported on the tornado, and some even captured it passing over until power was knocked out. Downtown Coleman was badly damaged by the tornado, and the damage being along a 2-block area through the center of the downtown business district. Numerous well-built brick buildings and storefronts in downtown Coleman were heavily damaged or destroyed, along
And
with
that
churches as the tornado briefly obtained EF4 intensity. Damage to, by the way, this is in Coleman, not here in Southern Illinois. Christ Lutheran Church in downtown was rated low-end EF4 as most of the structure completely collapsed. The courthouse and nearby emergency management buildings took a direct hit from the tornado, sustaining considerable damage, and 2 school buildings were heavily damaged. Many well-known businesses such as Vincent's Furniture, the Coleman Times, and the Busy Bee Cafe were also severely damaged or destroyed. Many homes were damaged or destroyed in the residential areas of the city. with extensive tree and power line damage noted as well. In all, a total of 867 residences and 94 businesses within the city of Coleman were damaged or destroyed. The tornado more or less followed U.S. Highway 278 through the city, in which it created extensive damage along many major intersections, including those with I-65, US 31, Alabama Highway 157, and Alabama Highway 69. The tornado continued northeast and becoming large and wedge-shaped as it re-attained EF4 intensity. It then passed just north of Fairview, completely destroying homes and debarking numerous hardwood trees. Pieces of debris were found speared through vehicles in the area. The tornado then briefly passed through a section of Morgan County near the town of Huaco, destroying several old block foundation homes and snapping numerous trees off of the base. The tornado then crossed into Marshall County and impacted the rural community of Ruth, just north of Arab. A large but poorly anchored brick home was swept completely away in the area, with debris scattered 100 yards from the foundation. Several large trees on the property were ripped out of the ground and missing, along with a trailer that was unable to be located at the time of the survey. Other homes and structures were impacted in the Ruth area, and a gas station was completely destroyed. A shed was destroyed with pieces of large farm machinery stored inside thrown up to 20 yards away. A storage trailer was tossed 100 yards away and found impaled by planks of wood, and steel power poles in the area were bent over. Arab's power grid was completely crippled by the tornado's effects, and many roads in the area were obstructed by downed trees and power lines. The tornado damaged and destroyed several other homes, garages, and sheds north of Union Grove before it crossed the Tennessee River just downstream of Guntersville Dam. It snapped several trees in the forested area before dissipating southeast of New Hope.
Alrighty, and now on to the tornado that I think is gonna. This is one of the tornadoes that deservedly gets a lot of attention. This tornado, ladies and gentlemen, is the Hackleburg and Phil Campbell tornado. Now, Mason, I've got
By the way,
all
the
the
cloud
pictures.
scattering, let me say real quick. The cloud scattering photo that they have on the 2011 outbreak thing is public domain.
Yep, I made sure to check that before I start talking about it, but I'll go ahead and get on to that real quick. But this, in my opinion, like, mind you, tornadoes don't normally scare me, ladies and gentlemen, but this one right here is just pure nightmare fuel. During the afternoon of April 27th, 2011, a large, long-lived, deadly EF5 tornado struck the town of Hackleburg and Phil Campbell, along with many other communities. The tornado would touch down around 3:05 p.m. and dissipate around 4:50 p.m. It was on the ground for an hour and 45 minutes. It traveled 102 miles. The highest wind speeds were recorded at 210 miles per hour. This tornado killed 72 people and caused 145 plus injuries, and it caused $1.29 billion in damage. And I'm going to show this on the screen. This is a picture of the debris ball and the hook echo as it was over Phil Campbell. And this one, right, and as you can see, that is a strong rotation signature and debris ball right there. And I'm also going to show this too. This is the track. And as you can see, there's many purples right here. There's a lot of EF5 indicators right. Hold on a second, Mason.
I'm sorry.
But you're good. There's a lot of EF5 indicators right here. right here, and the tornado would touch down way back here and travel all the way up here. And here's a picture of the ground scouring that Mason was talking about. This tornado got so powerful at one point during its life that it stripped a piece of asphalt off of the road, as you can see right here. And then this tornado was so powerful when it went through Hackleburg and Phil Campbell, there was a scar visible from space right here.
Okay.
Look at this. Look at this. You see all this right here? This is a scar that was left by the tornado after it came through. And let me show one more thing. Let me see. It says this tornado killed 71 people across 5 counties. It was the deadliest tornado to ever strike the state of Alabama, as well as the deadliest tornado in the United States since the Udall, Kansas F5 in 1955 that killed 80 people. But this tornado would be surpassed by the Joplin tornado less than a month later.
Okay, so I'm gonna real quick. So this thing actually summed up a little bit of what happened. So, of this tornado specifically, the tornado. This tornado was it was rated EF5, of course, the highest rating. It indicated catastrophic damage, and estimated peak winds reached 210 miles per hour. The tornado formed near Hackleburg, Alabama, and remained on the ground for an extremely long distance, traveling approximately 132 miles into southern Tennessee. Its path reached the
wait a minute, hold on. It said it said 102. So on the wiki that I was on. So I apologize for the false information.
Let me see if this made a mistake on this one. This one may be wrong. I'll have to check because this is coming from a source that I don't know if I can trust it or not. I'll have to check.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're getting accurate information because I don't want to give any false information to the viewers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 1 second.
But I just want to, while Mason is doing that, I just want to make one thing clear, ladies and gentlemen. This is the scar that was left behind, visible from space, as the tornado went through Hackleburg.
Okay, it was
Phil Campbell.
102. Just this source is kind of wonky.
Okay. And then after that, I have the Smithville tornado pulled up. But do you want to go ahead and start talking about the? You want to keep on the Hackleburg and Phil Campbell, or do you want to talk about the Smithville tornado?
You want to know? Apparently, this is a theory that some meteorologists started.
Okay.
About this, even though the tornado was on the ground for 102 miles, So let me check the okay. I'm gonna real quick go ahead. Oh, this was for Oh, I guess this they don't over areas they don't cover. They went ahead and ended that right there.
All right. But Mason, before we move on to the Tuscaloosa tornado, because I know that's one a lot of people are going to be listening for, do you want to go ahead and just knock the Smithville tornado out real quick, and then the rain, and then after the Tuscaloosa tornado, I think we can conclude after the Rainsville tornado.
Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna real quick send you a link real quick on Discord.
Okay. All right. I'll go check it real quick.
This is on National Weather Service Birmingham's website.
Yeah, I see it.
You'll be able. They have the radar data actually.
It just shows the track.
Scroll down.
Okay, yeah. I can do that. Yeah.
I'm gonna scroll down.
Scroll down. I got 2 radar images right here. Which one would you want me to show? Would you want me to show the on here? Actually, you know what? I'll just put you on the screen right now so that way you can have an idea of what I am looking at. Here we go.
Okay,
here's what I'm looking at.
Put that entire tab on there.
Yeah,
so,
that's what I did.
I'm gonna real quick go ahead and have this.
But Mason, you want to hear something even crazier? The 2 deadliest tornadoes to ever hit Alabama both occurred on this day: the Tuscaloosa tornado and the Birmingham tornado. So the 2 deadliest tornadoes in Alabama state history both occurred on this day.
Tuscaloosa and the Hackleburg.
Yeah, the Tuscaloosa and Hackleburg. So the 2 deadliest tornadoes in Alabama state history both occurred on this day, just hours apart.
Go to the velocity and stop it at 2 seconds.
Okay, hold on. All right, it stopped. This is the Smithville tornado. Oh wait, no, never mind. I see what you're talking about. This right here by Hackleburg, this tight rotation signature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So by the way, this was back in 2011. So some of the radar data may be a little obscured because radars were not as
pronounced,
and the debris did show up on radar.
Do you want me to fast forward it all or just leave it right here?
If you look at there were 2 tornadoes happening at the same time here. By the way, this area looks.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell there's you can tell there's a tornado right here because of that tight rotation signature right there. That's a very tight couplet right there. Man, and stuff like this was all too common on this day. I'm not gonna lie. The video of James Spann just being on TV just for hours, just broadcasting all of this. I mean, it's iconic at this point.
Hours plus he came in at 5 in the morning, and Jason Simpson was already on.
Yeah,
for the morning stuff.
I'm not gonna lie. If I was a meteorologist, this right here would be nightmare fuel to see so many debris, so many tight rotation signatures that look like this. That would be just pure nightmare fuel just to tell people that's coming their way, because some people didn't know what was coming their way because, like I said, the power got knocked out. So some people were totally in the dark. Can you imagine being in the dark and seeing the clouds get dark off in the distance and seeing this approach you? I can't imagine that, man.
And then I'm going to real quick bring back up. So we talked about in the first episode of Roaring Skies, we talked about the Perryville tornado. So after that tornado moved through southern Randolph County, I was out of power for 12 hours. And we still had a morning round of storms. And we still had a morning round of storms to get through. So around 4 in the morning, a tornado warning got issued for Jackson County.
Yeah.
4 in the morning, but it wasn't for my area. It was actually like south. And that storm would produce an EF0 tornado.
Yeah.
In between Murfreesboro and Carbondale. But that's a story for another day. We'll probably
Yeah.
talk about it more on. Let's just say this is an announcement here. So on March 1st of next year, we're going to be doing a anniversary episode of the Perryville tornado. It'll be 9 years since that tornado occurred.
And hopefully I will have all of my camera equipment that I need by then if I save up enough money. And then hopefully we can interview survivors and get their stories on this podcast and make like a mini documentary, hopefully.
We'll have to see, but that's all I can say about that one. So let's move on to.
So this is the loop from the Hackleburg tournament. I'm going to skip just 1 second. And oh my God, Mason, look right here.
Yeah, I think that's from Columbus, Mississippi's radar Nax ride, isn't it?
I'm not sure by chance. Oh my God, it just keeps going.
It was on the ground for over 100 miles.
Yeah, but still, that's insane to me. It just keeps going. Look.
Yeah, and then there was also the next tornado that occurred that day was the violent long track EF4 tornado that touched down at 3:40 in northeastern Pickens County, damaging a few shoot. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Damaging a few chicken homes at EF1 strength. The tornado caused roof damage to homes and destroyed a few outbuildings before moving into Tuscaloosa County and
Before we
briefly
move to
into
Tuscaloosa,
Fayette County, causing major EF2 tree damage and minor structural damage. The tornado then moved into Tuscaloosa County, causing mostly minor tree damage, tree and structural damage at EF1 strength before rapidly intensifying and crossing into Fayette County once again. There, it completely destroyed at least one mobile home, with the frame being separated and the remaining debris being thrown a considerable distance. The tornado appeared to strengthen even further, and several mobile homes were obliterated, with debris thrown a considerable distance in frames.
Are you talking about the Tuscaloosa tornado?
No, the Reform, Oakman, Cordova, and Bluntsville, Alabama tornado.
Okay, I'll go ahead and look that up for you while you're talking.
That's the one I'm talking about. So
I'll go ahead and look up the Cordova tornado.
So with debris thrown a considerable distance and frames twisted and thrown. Damage was rated EF3 in the area. Many tornadoes were down. Many trees were downed as well before the tornado moved into Walker County. It then weakened to EF1 strength and caused mostly minor damage to trees and mobile homes south of Oakman. Numerous trees were snapped and uprooted. A cell phone tower was knocked down, and mobile homes were destroyed at EF2 intensity. It then rolled vehicles and destroyed a cinder block house to the southwest of Oakman, with damage rated EF3 at that location. The tornado weakened considerably as it approached Corridor X of the Appalachian Development Highway System, which is now I-22, with only minor EF0 tree damage before it strengthened significantly as it entered the town of Cordova as a half-a-mile wide EF3 tornado. In Cordova, numerous homes and manufactured homes were either damaged or destroyed in the area, along with many trees being downed. Several unanchored homes in the town were swept from the foundations. Buildings in downtown Cordova had already been damaged in an EF EF3 tornado earlier that morning and received further damage from this tornado east of Cordova. The tornado crossed the Millbury Fork of the Black Warrior River 3 times, along with the Sipsey Fork at once, just north of its confluence with the Millbury Fork. It intensified further into a violent EF4 tornado in northeastern Walker County as it completely leveled a site-built home and obliterated 2 nearby mobile homes. One of the mobile home undercarriages was tossed at 500 yards, at least 500 yards. A
Oh my
5-ton
lord.
bulldozer was flipped over. A pickup truck was tossed 200 yards. A dump truck was tossed 50 yards and destroyed. A 2-ton trailer was thrown 1 mile and left a 2.5-foot deep crater where it impacted the ground. The 2 double-wide mobile homes were tossed at least 100 yards, and a third mobile home was tossed 100 yards up to 50-foot embankment and destroyed along this segment of the path as well, south of Sipsey. Additional homes and mobile homes were destroyed at EF2 to EF3 in strength, and numerous trees were snapped. The tornado then crossed the Millbury Fork for the 4th time and moved into Coleman County, south of Arkadelphia. A second area of EF4 tornado damage was observed, as a cinder block construction home was leveled and a car was thrown 130 yards. Nearby, an underground storm shelter collapsed, and the occupants sheltered inside as the tornado passed overhead. The tornado then crossed the Millbury Fork again, moving into Blount County, where it caused EF1 roof damage to a home and snapped hundreds of trees. It then crossed I-65 before crossing the Millbury Fork into Coleman County southwest of Garden City, snapping numerous trees at EF1 strength. It quickly crossed the river again, the 7th crossing, moving back into Blount County as it continued southwest of Garden City. It straddled the Millbury Fork before finally moving southerly into Blount County and towards Blountsville. On the southeast side of Blountsville, the tornado downed many trees and caused high-end EF2 damage to well-built brick and slab foundation homes, one of which had some interior walls collapse. The storm continued to the northeast and out of Blountsville, where 2 additional homes sustained high-end EF3 damage. Okay.
Hey Mason, here's an aerial shot of the EF3 damage in Cordova, and yes, this is public domain. I checked. So what do you think of this damage right here?
It's definitely
And then there's this. Look at that debris ball by Lynn's Park.
okay. So skipping to
which one are we going to now?
The storm's been on the ground. The tornado was on the ground for 2 hours and 16 minutes, tracking for 127.8 miles across 7 counties, making it the longest tracked tornado of the outbreak. And let me add, would be probably the second longest tracking tornado in modern history until we got the Western Kentucky tornado.
Mm-hmm.
Which that tornado was on the ground for 165 miles.
Alrighty, and I gotta ask you,
This
do you want to
tornado
talk
killed
about?
13 people. This tornado, this low end EF4, killed 13 people and 54 others were injured with this one.
Rest in peace to all those victims, man. This was such a horrifying day in Alabama and Mississippi, man. It's almost like the mouth of hell opened up on this day.
And then the following tornado was actually the Smithville, Mississippi tornado.
Oh boy, I've been waiting for this one. Oh, this tornado, in my opinion, I just want to say this.
Which the tornado began 3 miles west
Hey,
southwest
Mason.
of Smithville along the Tennessee Togbigny waterway near the Glover Wilkins Lock at 3:42 p.m. Several trees near the Smithville recreational area. The tornado then rapidly intensified as it approached town, reaching EF5 intensity as the tornado crossed Davis Road south.
Hey Mason, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm really gonna real quick put the debris ball on screen as it exits Smithville, but I just want to mention real quick that in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, you are free to disagree or agree with me, but in my opinion, this is the strongest tornado, and it's one of the strongest tornadoes in modern history because the environment that it went into as it entered Smithville and as it exited, it produced some of the most extreme damage I have ever seen. Like, for example, like I just want to explain to you what all of you are looking at. This was a weld anchored home bolted to the foundation, and as you can see, there's nothing left, absolutely nothing. And then this is the debris ball from the tornado on radar. This white you see down here, this little hook shape, this is where the tornado is. The rest of this up here is just rain and maybe a little bit of wind, but this is where the tornado is right here.
Okay, so this tornado impacted. Okay, so I'm gonna real quick see if I can find interactive
radar for it. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me see.
I'm gonna search for interactive tornado tracks. So I can see if I'm gonna have to search it differently then. I'm about to freak out. Now we've been on here, so now we're about to go into our 100th minute.
Hey.
On the screen.
We really hope you all appreciate this and are learning a thing or two about it because we are pouring our heart and soul into this just to make sure that you guys learn a thing or two about weather, and hopefully that if you haven't hopefully that if you're wanting to learn about tornadoes and become a meteorologist, which we are not, I just hope that this is able to encourage you to learn more about storms. Mason, I can't find it anywhere. Can you find it?
Okay, so I'm gonna try to real quick go ahead and hopefully this one will pop up tracks. Okay, so I'm going to real quick I'm gonna actually go ahead and separate this into 2011 instead through 2011.
Oh, and I just want to mention another thing too. As this tornado was hitting Smithville, a red Ford Explorer would be picked up and hit the water tower that would leave a dent that would still be that's still visible to this very day. And I'm actually going to try to find a picture of that right now. Hold on.
All right. So there was so this tornado, the Philadelphia tornado, touched down in Monroe County, Mississippi, and then it continued into Itawamba County, and then it moved into Marion County, Alabama, before lifting in southern Franklin County, Alabama. And then the Fort Camp, and then okay, let me switch over to tracks. So then the EF5 tornado that occurred. So, okay. New information. The Hackleburg tornado was on the ground for 132 miles.
Okay, I apologize for the false information. On the wiki, it said 102. I apologize about that.
So it was on the ground for 132 miles. There were 145 injuries, 72 fatalities. This tornado touched down at this would be 105, I think. I think that's what it says. No. I think that's actually says 205, but that would be 305 because
Yeah.
I'm actually just gonna filter by April of 2011. So I'm gonna actually pop up on my screen. I can't really do it, but I'm gonna actually link this in your Discord.
All right, I'll go take a look at it real quick.
These are all the tornado tracks. And you can filter it from 2011. And by the way, there were tornadoes that occurred in our region during this outbreak. For example, an EF1 tornado impacted parts of Warner County on April 25th, which this tornado was only on the ground for 2.77 miles. Then we had an EF2 tornado impact. This was on the 23rd, impact Cairo. And then we had a lot of EF1s in Wayne County, but those were on two of these were actually on.
All right, which track do you want me to show? Because there's a lot of them on here.
I mean, I'd probably just display the entire state of Alabama and then go to the filter by year and then go 2011, then filter by month, April.
Okay, hold on.
Because that's what I have on my screen. What does this say on my screen?
Okay, here, I got it. All right, I'll go ahead and share this tab real quick. There we go.
Okay, so and I would also select F and EF 0, 1, 2, and 3 so that they can see all the tornadoes that occurred that day.
Absolutely.
As well. So I think we're gonna have to split this one into more than one.
in more than one episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what are we going on now? About almost 2 hours and 10 minutes, I believe.
This is currently, so 120 would be 120 would be 2 hours.
Okay.
What does it say on your screen?
It says 2 hours and 14 minutes. That's what it says.
Oh, okay. So mine says 106 minutes. So that's how long I've been like recording here. So
Okay.
anyway, we had 4 EF5s that day.
Yep, here's the Smithville, here's the Philadelphia, here's the Hackleburg and Phil Campbell, and here's the Rainsville and Fife, Alabama EF5 right here, and here's the Tuscaloosa tornado, and here's all the other EF4s that occurred on this day as well.
And there was an EF4 that was on the ground for 127.8 miles, which that was the longest tracking tornado of the outbreak. Actually, it was the Fort Phil Campbell. Actually, was.
All right, let me
Phil
go
Campbell
right here.
was on the ground for 132 miles.
Yep, right here. There it is.
Which this tornado was unprecedented and was the most violent tornado of the outbreak.
Yeah.
By what the National Weather Service says.
It was also the most deadly of the outbreak, too. Second only to the Tuscaloosa tornado. Well, the Tuscaloosa / Birmingham tornado.
Mm-hmm. So, the Birmingham tornado moved into... And that was not the only EF4 to impact parts of Jefferson County. There was also another EF4 tornado that occurred that had 22 fatalities and 85 injuries, which that one went ahead and touched down in eastern, I believe, portions of the Birmingham metro. So then that tornado moved more and more, and then it went into Georgia.
Yeah, it looks like it dissipated over here by Kingston, Georgia.
Yep, just south of... Sorry, I'm trying to get the highway number. I
gotta go off topic for a second.
411. U.S. Highway 411.
I gotta go off topic for just 1 second. To any of you on here that are watching from Chattanooga, you guys had extremely close calls with 3 different EF4 tornadoes. 3. You got an F4 right here, you got an F4 right here, and right here. So the people at Chattanooga had a lot of close calls on that day, but sadly the people in Birmingham and in Tuscaloosa were not as fortunate.
Most of Birmingham was actually spared because it only hit the northern suburbs of Birmingham, near Forestdale and Fultondale.
There's actually some footage from Fultondale from somebody who was in a apartment. They capture as the sky turns black and as the tornado hits, and it's quite terrifying to say the least because it looks like a wall of darkness is approaching.
And this tornado specifically picked up near Red Wing Lane by the end of this tornado, and this storm would recycle in parts and produce another tornado, which goes into Georgia.
Yep, that's this one right. Hold on, let me zoom out. That's this one right here. This one.
So, all that aside, I think we should start wrapping up.
Yeah, we might have to do a 2-part to this next week on the Roaring Skies deep cuts.
Yeah, that now we figured out what we could do.
Absolutely. I think we gave them enough information for episode 1 and for episode 2. I think we can do it on my or on our second podcast.
Yeah, so if you guys want more information on this, we will talk about it next weekend on our deep information, our deep info edition of Roaring Skies. Because as Nick said, we've been doing this for almost 2.5 hours.
But
At
hey,
this point.
this is part 1 of our best episode ever, in my opinion, because it's the most detailed.
We also talked about the St. Louis one. I think,
Yeah.
okay, I think we should have done a separate episode on that.
Yeah, we can do an episode on that in the future on the deep info edition, because
But
I'm
I
gonna
think
ask
we
around and see if
already spoke about it like a lot, so
yeah, true that.
like
Yeah.
that. Anyway, I hope you guys have a safe and warm, stay warm because it is
Stay bundled
cold.
up.
Right now it is 27 degrees outside.
I know. I got my heater right next to me.
So anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.
Be
Bye,
safe
guys.
and stay weather aware.